everybody. We are back.
We are back.
On the old Marshall Street podcast there.
Yep. With a very special guest today, we've got Zeke.
Very special.
Zeke Thomas, welcome.
Hi, thanks
Welcome.
for having me.
Welcome. Good to be here.
It's good. Is it good to be here, Stu?
Fucking oath it is.
No,
It's good for me to be here with
That's
all
good.
you guys.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's very nice
Yeah.
of you to say.
Yep. So tell us a bit about yourself for those who don't know who you are.
Yeah, give us a rundown.
For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm a musician slash producer slash songwriter. I work full time as a musician slash producer slash songwriter, which
Could
is
call yourself a professional.
yeah, I guess technically, yeah,
Yep.
in like a
Made the
legalistic sense.
transition.
Yeah,
Fucking A,
it makes
man.
me professional. So yeah, I've been doing that for on and off for a little while, but currently working. Got a studio in Oakley. Got to set up with my best mate there, and we just do it. We just do whatever comes our way, and do a lot of performing, a lot of mixing, songwriting, production, the whole hog. So
Yeah,
Awesome.
nice.
yeah, that's sort of
Some of the artists you've worked with.
I've worked with. I'll start from the most notable because that's the important stuff.
It's always good to get some credibility.
Yeah, this is the resume. Let me rip it out. I've worked with Veronicas. I've worked with a comedian slash performer named Em Rusciano. It's a lot of fun, like live show kind of thing, like a cabaret special. I've also produced a lot for her as well. Work with a bunch of small artists around Melbourne, just like singer-songwriters trying to get to get their thing happening.
Yep.
So,
You do a couple of musical endeavours yourself.
yep, got a couple of projects. Got a project that's just under my name as Ezekiel Thomas. It's just ambient music, which I love doing.
It's really cool.
I've got like a heavy project called Grand Union. I don't really know how to classify it. It's kind of industrial. It's kind of drone.
Yeah,
kinda-
there's a few things going on there.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. That one I'm putting a live show together for at the moment. So it's sort of coming to fruition what it actually is. And yeah, it's lots of distortion,
Yeah,
lots of
sick.
feedback, and
It's different. I like it. It's cool. It's like you're chucking all this different stuff in. Yeah, like you said, the industrial, Nine Inch Nails influence sort of stuff. Oh yeah.
Yep.
You might have to go and check that out.
I'll be back.
We'll keep
You guys
talking.
can carry on.
Yep. Yeah. So
Sorry, brother. I was like, I don't know.
roller doors, eh? Yep.
here to see a man about a roller door. That's red hot.
It's the start of a movie if I've ever heard of one. No, so the industrial stuff you've chucked in some pop elements, some heavier guitar elements.
Yeah,
good.
man, it's just, for me, it's like, it's the amalgamation of everything I've ever wanted to have in a musical project. And it's like, it's totally on my terms, which is great in concept. It meant that like it took me 2 years to put out my first release because it was just...
Very ambitious.
It was very ambitious, but it's also like I'm the only one that has anything to do with it. So it's like it gets mixed on my terms, it gets written, it gets arranged, it comes to light on my terms, and it just means that without having someone there to kind of keep you in check, you can just let things slip away. So it's good and it's bad.
Yeah. We talk about it all the time, like being a musician, you don't have your own boss.
Yes,
Like no one is going to tell you off for not doing stuff.
totally.
So if it just falls apart,
It's-
then it falls apart. It's like, it is what it is. And that happens. Like,
Absolutely.
and then you realise months later, you're like, I probably should have done something in that time.
Totally.
Fuck.
Totally.
Oh, well.
So for me, it's a real challenge because it's easy to just be like, well, I've got all these other things going on.
Yeah.
And then that can just sort of get pushed aside. So like one of my things for 2020, because you have to make goals, I suppose, is I've got a good friend of mine alongside for the project. He's going to be playing drums, and the act of like having another person in amongst it is like...
There's a bit of accountability there, yeah.
Totally. And it's like, all right, I've got someone who can play drums for my project. It's like, well, maybe we should rehearse. Like, maybe we should do a show. So it immediately sort of gets, for me, it's like lit the fire under me to get my act together.
Fuck yeah.
Do something about it.
Yeah,
So,
dope. And Big Creatures coming back?
Big Creature's coming back. Big Creature's my project with Michael Best, who I work with as well. And that's sort of like an electro-funk pop sort of thing.
Yeah, I cheekily call it the 1985.
Yeah, totally. That's if I was going to describe it in 2 words, it would be the 1985. So yeah, and, it's just like it's funk, it's pop, it's it's easy to
Catchy.
say that it's like the 1975 because it is. I mean, they're sort of drawing on the same influences as us. So
I think it's more modern sound. That's hard because 1975 are pretty modern sounding, I guess. They have both elements as well, but you guys have more of that more recent vintage feel. It's not really like throwback all the way to the 80s.
Totally.
It's like just elements, picking bits out.
Totally. I think we try and think of it as like that's the framework as such, and then we just like fill that with the other stuff that we like. Because we like we like more than just Prince. We like more than just like Talking Heads.
So talk us through maybe some of the ways that you guys do approach songs. Like how do you sit down and just kind of fuck with it and see what comes up, or?
Yeah, we jam a lot. So our studio, the intention is to just have like everything sort of set up all the time.
Yeah.
And then it'll just be as simple as like getting on a synth and being like, this is a great patch. What sort of part do I hear in this patch? Start with that, and then it's like you just hit let the computer run, and you just throw ideas onto it, and then it sort of becomes, after you've done a lot of that, you sit at the computer and it's curating sounds and it's curating parts and
cool.
So it's very organic in that sense. We don't really sit at the computer and be like, we want to write blah 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 blah, and then we do that, and then all right, now we want to add this kind of vocal. We try and keep it organic.
Yeah, so. Sick. Does that? What's probably the most challenging part, or is it pretty easy? Do you stop when it becomes challenging, or?
I think the most challenging part, it has nothing to do with the making of the music.
Yeah.
It's just like it's the marketing, and it's setting a release date. For us, like making music is super easy.
Yeah.
In the sense of like, hitting record, putting ideas on there.
Something will happen.
Totally.
Yeah.
Always. We never have
good or bad.
Yeah. We never have issues with writer's block or like trying to come up with an idea or trying to find a good part. It's always just like, it's the curation, I suppose,
And do you think that that's because you guys have a really good relationship, or do you ever get other people in to or is it more just you two?
It's pretty much just us. We have we've got a drummer in the band, and he will contribute remotely. So we'll be like, we'll send him a Dropbox folder of like here's a bunch of ideas, and he'll write parts. But I would say the majority of it is us just like in the room, because we're in the room like 5 days a week, all the time. So it's like, it's us. We don't really get other people in, just because it's kind of, for us, again, it's like the passion project thing. It's like, this is the band that we want to be in.
Totally.
Let's like do everything that we want to do. And that's kind of become, like with the new set of releases that are coming out, some of it's counterintuitive in the sense of we're not trying to like write a hit. We're not trying to write, something that is guaranteed success or whatever it might be. It's just like, we just write what we want to write.
That's really how it should start anyway. Like with most artists that aren't yet like in the mainstream or whatever you want to call it, it has to start from there. It has to start from what is the music that comes naturally to me. What do I love? What do I want to hear?
Totally.
That's where it has to start.
Totally.
Because otherwise you're pushing shit uphill. Like you're trying to fight to produce something that doesn't come naturally. It's not.
Yeah.
That's when writer's block comes, in my opinion.
Yeah, totally.
Like,
I think it's like the foundational element should be what you want to hear and what you put out. And that can change, like that can change day to day. That can change if you're in the room with like an extra person.
Yeah.
But it's still, that's got to be the stepping stone. And we see that like with artists that we'll have in for production. It's like, you've all got to get on the same page.
Yeah.
All right, we like this sound. All right, now we can all sort of collectively start from that, first step, and then go forward from there.
And do you guys reference things much, or is it pretty much just try and keep it within what comes out of you?
It depends on the context, like reference as in, here's the current songs and what do we want to write, or?
No, as in like, do you reference other artists? Do you put stuff on and go, this is the type of song that we want to write, or is it more just like, let's just see what fucking happens?
A bit of both, for sure. I think we try and keep it really in balance because we've seen people go too far the other way.
Yeah.
People be like, we want to write a song that's like "Burn for You, John Farnham," and then they just do like
what a random choice.
They just do exactly that song.
Though.
Yeah, no, absolutely it is. But I heard this song come on the other day, and I was like, this is like it was like, this is the
Yeah.
same guitar
complete
tones.
rip-off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
yeah,
It's like
yeah.
you're really just like one step removed from that song.
Yeah,
So
we were listening to Machine Gun Kelly, and we thought the
Yeah.
same thing with one of his tracks the other
Very
day.
similar.
Just sounds like Linkin Park, really.
It is.
Right.
It's a Linkin Park song.
Yep. Correct.
yeah, and it happens, and like sometimes it can be genuine inspiration, but I feel like more often than not, if that's what your most original idea and most, true expression of yourself is, you probably need to like dig a bit deeper in yourself.
Yep.
Yeah, I think like when you are trying to manufacture that inspiration, it's always gonna. I just feel it just doesn't feel right. Like, and when I've finished a song that because I've obviously experimented with that sort of stuff because I think it's important to reference like famous artists and stuff like that, just to try and see how they get the sounds they get and how they get into their headspace and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And every time that I've written something that remotely sounds like something else, it just doesn't feel good. And I always, when I'm hearing music that I'm like, fuck, they just ripped that off. Like, I'm like, how can they feel okay with that? Like, it blows my mind.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because I think it's towing that line between, like there is something about, or something to be said for taking inspiration, but when you listen to something like, fuck man, this gets me going, and then when you have some of that translate into how you do your craft, like that's just fucking inspiration and taking stuff that fucking, I guess our past history and experiences all shape us in terms of shit we make. But there is definitely a line when you're like, okay, have I been inspired by this? And, I'm using that to kind of guide and influence me. Or have I just tried to replicate it with a little bit of my fucking spin on it?
Totally.
Yeah, sick. Nice. So what's, with the artists that come in to see you guys, how does that usually come about? Is it friends of friends?
Pretty much. It's really all word of mouth.
Yep.
We've had a little bit of success with like Instagram content and people just sort of seeing that, but it's still, there's always a connection. It's like they saw that because we had this mutual person or whatever it might be. So
how long have you guys been going for, sorry?
We've been officially for like about a year, pretty much dead on a year.
So I was talking with Tones about this recently, and like, because word of mouth in any fucking business is the best thing you can get.
100%.
Like that fucking word referral of, hey man, Stu, go to this dude. I've gone to him. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like you take that on.
You're like, cool. I don't need to hear anymore. I don't even need to research it. Really.
Yeah, and like depending
Sometimes.
on how much you trust that person will fucking dictate whether you go to. If like it's a super trusted fucking person and he tells me, hey, trust this, cool. I take that with some authority. But it also takes real time to build that network of trust and for that word of mouth to start coming back in. So that's what I was saying. Like, I think after about a year, like you've fucked with enough people where it's like, cool, people know about you, they start to see you, they connect the dots between shit online and fucking a buddy told them this.
Yeah.
But it's like, especially in something like the music industry, anything creative, like word of mouth, people fucking backing you and validating what you do and what you bring to the table is the best and pretty much the only way to get fucking longevity out of it.
Totally. It's like, I think in a time before social media, that's all there really was.
Yeah.
Like you could build a website, you could have a really big business, but if you didn't have people talking about your business, you've got nothing still. And so it's the only way.
Yep,
Yeah,
100%.
That and real experiences, like once you've had that first connection, if it works and you nurture that and you really build upon what are the positives of that relationship, like why does this work, and taking time to analyze it and sitting there and going, okay, I know this works for some reason. Why is it? And then you just build on that and build on that.
Keep refining.
And you don't even sometimes do it, cognitively.
Consciously, yeah.
But
Another thing is actually giving a fuck about your clients. Like, you're only going to get good word of mouth spreading if people are happy with what you've done. Like, if people treat it like, oh, this is just another client and I've got to get another client and this is just this numbers, then you're not going to have that fucking positive word in the street. You're not going to have people referring to you. So it's actually giving a fuck about the people that you work with, and going, cool, how can I get them the best out of this project? Like, how can I allow them to maximize whatever the fuck they're thinking in their head?
yeah, because then you're using them as the means to your end.
Yes.
Rather than them being the end, right?
Yeah.
If you're looking at them and going, okay, they're the reason why I'm in this. Like, I produce, I songwrite, I play music for this reason, to be around other musicians. if you're using them to get something out of yourself, one, they'll probably see it.
Yeah, people can sense it.
Yeah, and the other thing is that it won't last because
and people won't recommend you.
No.
And you can even there's been a dude who I had a friend work with, and we got the exact same feedback. Like, the dude is super good at music. He understands music. He gets how to fucking compose. He understands shit. He's like classically trained at piano, super good, but just could not fucking collaborate and work with someone else to save his fucking life.
Yeah.
Like, was working with a friend of mine, a singer, and she's like, he just wouldn't fucking budge on anything. She's like, I had ideas. He's like, nah, I wrote this. This is how it goes. Nope,
Yeah.
this is how it goes. Nope, this is it. And you're like, fuck, man, like...
That's the point. Yeah.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think people are lining up to get into the fucking room with someone like that? Like,
No, not at all. Like, at the end of the day, it's just like, be a good dude.
Yeah.
Or a good gal. Like, if you're, and I think by virtue of that, you're going to be able to collaborate when someone's like, I have this idea, because you're not like, well, my idea is much better than yours.
Yeah,
It's just like, you know what? I think you're all right. Like, let's see where that goes.
Yeah.
If you're a good person, no matter whether you get stuff done on a day or in a week, you're still a good dude and you've made a human connection.
Yeah,
Yep.
and I think there's something valuable about letting someone be their best as well, because then you can kind of see what skills they bring to the table. I really like that. I like getting in the room with someone and not knowing. Like, we got in a room a few months ago, and we just started to write a song together, and
Yeah.
we didn't know how each other worked, and I just it was cool to let you bring your shit to the table. You were cool to let me have my ideas, and it just became something else. Like,
Yep.
I always love the idea of collaborating because I visualize it like a tree. It's weird, but hear me out. It's
We'll hear you out.
you start with the seed, right? And that is one person's idea. And then you plant that, and then the tree starts to grow, and it sprouts different branches, and that's the ideas that the other people bring to the table. And each branch is kind of a different idea that your tree alone wouldn't have had as many branches as that tree of the 2 people or the 3 people. So the tree's only going to get bigger, and that's how I like to think about collaborating. And it's like, it's cool because you wouldn't get the amount of ideas or the scope that you would when you work with a number of people and letting them bring their
have
vision
their
to the
input in,
table as well.
definitely. Because kind of like we've all got our blind spots. And it's like a lot of time you're not aware of your blind spot. That's why it's a fucking blind spot. So it's by having someone else there just to bounce ideas, and even just their fucking back history and their life of experiences is going to mean that they look at things different to you. They're going to see fucking stuff that you don't see. They're going to hear stuff a little bit differently. And that's you get stuff that you couldn't have come up with on your own in a fucking group effort.
Yep.
100%. Yeah.
Nice. So how'd you meet the Veronicas?
It's a word of mouth thing. It's a friend of
Yeah.
a friend sort of a scenario. So, the studio I work in Oakley, it's a little office complex, and there's 3 studios. So we work with 2 guys who operate under M Squared, and they run the show. So they lease out the the rooms, and we sublease from them. Michael Painter, who's in M Squared, very great guy. He really helped us out a lot getting into the room and, setting us up for that. He's done the Veronicas gig for 12 years.
Yeah, right. Yep.
So, very long time. They go really way back. And then it was just in my mind, it's 2 things. It's like, obviously I knew him, but then it was also just like being an available person, being someone who's like, hey, I'm here. Right? Here's the things I can do.
Yep.
Just so you know.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm willing to take up that challenge.
Totally.
Yeah.
If you were going to come my way, I'll do whatever I can to help you out if you need something.
Yep.
It was just one of those situations.
And that's such a great fucking tip and word that you just said, is being available. Like, having that mindset means, especially in fucking something like music, you're going to get a gig over someone who has these barriers up, whether it's a price barrier of, I can do it, but this is my hourly rate.
Yeah.
Or, look, I don't do stuff on Sunday, so no. Like, by being available, you get the call up. Actually, I was talking with, again, fucking Jack the Bear about this. He's like, a lot of the big mastering gigs he got in the day were because when he was out of Sing Sing, he was available. Like, the other dudes were taken, and he was floating around the building.
Yeah.
And he's like, and they're like, oh, we need this mastered, we need this B-side done. And he's like, yeah, come in and I can do it. He's like, so I got some of my biggest fucking gigs was by being available.
Yeah. It's being available, being a good person. And I think in my experience, I'm not a great instrumentalist, like I can jack of all trades, can play a lot of stuff. I don't think I'm very great at it, but I've found that more often than not, because of being available, because of being the guy that will put his hand up and be like, hey, I can help you out, that I've got gigs over dudes who are far more proficient at guitar than I am, or far more proficient at keyboard than I am.
Awesome.
So it's like,
I love it. Because
It's the right attitude.
it's a fucking relationship-based economy, man, we live in.
100%. Yeah.
The attitude means the most, and if you bring that attitude to the table, whereas you recognize that you might not be the best at this or that, but your willingness to try and to help and try and get the sum of the parts, the big picture.
Yes.
It's not about me. I don't give a fuck about my place in it. I just want to help it become what it can be if I'm there.
Totally. Yeah. And if you're like, the other side of that is as well, it's like if you're going to be on the road with someone and you're thinking about you and you're thinking about, oh, my priorities and I want this and I want that and blah, blah, blah. Oh, woe is me. You're not going to last like more than a week on the road with a group of people, like 10 people.
Your mind's set on that,
Exactly.
Totally.
It's like you've got to be willing to be part of the group, be fluid, sort of, everyone's sort of got their own roles and personalities, but if you can negotiate that on a person-to-person level, you're gonna get the call the next time it's, let's go out on the road for a bit.
Yep.
So...
Nice. And even in that, so you mentioned at the start before I had to duck out. As most people who make a living in this field are, there's a lot of fucking hats we wear. In everything you've done, I guess, what got you into this? What was your first kind of fucking intro into music? And what's your favorite? What do you love doing? If you could do fucking anything all day in the industry, what is it?
I got into music full stop way back when I was like 4 or 5. My mum's a musician.
Damn,
and
young.
so just living in a house with her, like she sings, plays guitar, she played drums. So it's sort of just for me, it's all I've ever known.
Yep. That's cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Which is, I think it's
gift.
great.
Yeah.
Totally, yeah.
Hugely.
And like, obviously she was incredibly supportive of that throughout my childhood because I was just like, I love this. I started off playing drums and she was like, all right, when you're 7 or 8, we'll get you into lessons. She got me into piano lessons and I was like, I don't want to do this. I want to do drums. And she was like, well, you do 2 years of piano lessons, learn how to read music. Drums will be easy. Trust me. And I was like, righto, mum.
That's awesome.
Did that. And then, like I was 10. I stopped piano lessons, started drums. And I was like, oh, well, now I can read music. So I'm halfway there. And I'd already been playing drums since I was like 5. So it was, it sort of accelerated my learning, I think, through that period. And then, just my parents supported me in the endeavors that I wanted to do, like playing in high school bands. And I've done a little bit of other stuff along the way, like working retail, as you have to do. Mm-hmm. But it's always been a no-brainer that I would end up doing full-time music in some capacity.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Some capacity, in every capacity.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is, and then that's essentially what it is. And like, I think for me, wearing a lot of hats is the thing that I want to be doing all the time.
Cool.
I think if I was just stuck in a studio all day, every day, I would get really tired of it really quickly, even if I was working on amazing music with amazing artists. There's something about the way my brain's wired where I have to be doing lots of stuff all the time.
Nice.
So like I'll do 5 days a week in the studio, a couple of gigs on the weekend, bit of side work at home. And that's, for me, that's the way it has to be. Doing as much as possible. So
nice. That's awesome. That's super fucking good self-awareness to know yourself that good to go, fuck, even if it was something that I love doing, I know that enjoyment isn't going to be permanent and I like to keep busy and doing new shit.
Totally. I think it's like, it's not, the goal isn't do music in a studio for 5 days a week. It's like the doing things to get to that goal is what is going to give you fulfillment. Mm-hmm. So like I'd love to tour the world, but I think if I was touring the world, I wouldn't love touring the world. It's that whole paradigm where it's like that's not the thing that you want to be doing. It's like it's
an
like,
experience.
Yeah, it's the journey is not the destination. It's that kind of mindset, but I think it's a bit more complicated than that because it's like you're getting fulfillment out of the journey.
It's the process.
Yeah.
I also think that when you are open to doing a number of different things at any one time, that naturally opens doors to more things anyway. Totally. Because if you are just locking yourself in a studio for 5 days a week and then doing that every week for a year or 2 years or 3 years, whatever, you're only going to get those sorts of opportunities. It's not going to happen any other way. Like, if you're just like, yeah, I'm a mix engineer and I sit in the studio, someone will be like, cool, that's the only thing I'm going to ask you for.
Totally. Yeah.
I'm not going to, why would I suggest something that I don't think that you're interested in doing?
Yeah.
Totally.
So
or even have the capacity to do.
Yep.
Yeah. 100%.
So you're not letting yourself grow
Yep.
professionally.
Yep.
As building on your talents and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
it's always cool to practice a number of different things at any one time.
Oh, hugely. Because
And you go through waves as well.
As we said before, heaps of like values change in life. Like the shit that fucking I used to love when I was 20, now doesn't really fucking interest me, and in 10 years shit might change.
Yeah.
So by trying new shit, and especially in something like music, like a lot of people when you're growing up, I know I was when I was like a teenager, you're like, fuck, dude, I just want to be the rock star. Like, I want to be on stage, fucking playing guitar. Like, that's the life,
Fucking
man.
totally.
Everyone else is a fucking sucker, and they're all fucking idiots. It's the dude in the fucking stage, man.
Yeah.
Because you
and
see
then
the
you
tip
go-
of the iceberg. But
Yeah,
anyway.
and also because you just don't know. Like, you don't know what jobs exist. You don't know what managers do. You don't know what fucking all these other. You don't even know these jobs exist.
Totally.
Let alone if they're in alignment with your values and what you like doing.
And
Yeah.
you grow into the things that you like to do as well. Like,
Well, you've got to allow yourself. If you
Yeah.
don't allow yourself to be around those people or to be open to new knowledge and new experiences and fucking meeting new people, you're never going to be like, fuck, man, I thought I wanted to do this, but really, fuck, turns out, like, before people knew what mastering is, if they don't know what mastering is, how are you going to know if you're fucking going to be a good mastering engineer?
Yeah.
Like, you don't. That could be something that you love doing, but if you're narrow-minded enough to not allow yourself to go out and meet new people and fucking like, oh, what does this word do? Or what's this? And even like mixing, like there's a lot of dudes who I reckon would be very good at mixing, but don't dive into that world until really, for me, when I was around someone really good at it, and it was Mikey Costa at TAFE, just by being around someone who's at a good level, you're like, fuck, man, this is sick. Like, these dudes take fucking a song that sounds like this, and these are the stems, and this is what they finish with. Like, it's fucking out of control.
do you think it's interesting? Because do you think it's like a set limitation that they're putting on themselves?
I think most people have, and I mean, myself included in this to some capacity, but we all have fucking mental barriers that we put in place.
Yeah.
100%. Some people's are just a lot bigger than others.
Yeah, because it's like, you're right in saying you don't know the things that you don't know, of course, that makes sense. But then there's usually a point where you see something and you're like, fuck, that's cool, immediately. I think it happens very quickly. And whether you like it enough to follow
next
it, like,
response,
for example,
correct.
like I did photography in fucking uni. I mean, I like photography, but I did it for like 2 or 3 years, and I'm like, why? Like, I obviously am a musician. Like,
So it's usually the next step after that. Something can spark that fucking, that kind of thought, and you're like, fuck, that's cool. Whether you just go, oh man, fuck, I wish I did that. Or if you're like, all right, now I'm going to fucking start to learn it. Now I'm going to put in some fucking time. Now I'm going to put in some hours. Now I'm going to get my fucking hands dirty. Most people are like, fuck, that's cool. I wish I did that in my life.
yeah, there is a lot of
End
that.
of story. And then they go back to the job
Totally.
that they fucking hate.
Totally.
And then they just think like, oh man, I wish my life was like that.
Yeah.
When like, it's the same, like anyone who's got to a point where they're really happy with their job or they're doing something they love, like it's fucking hours behind the scenes and years of fucking doing shit and fucking it up and getting to a point where you're good at shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just that most people don't want to go through that fucking journey.
No.
Yeah.
Well, it's that thing of continually aiming upwards, and obviously aiming upwards implies that there's work involved in maintaining that course. And you're totally right. It's like I see so many artists that are just content with playing the same gigs in Melbourne every weekend. Right? They're just like, oh, I'm a musician. I've got to act. Like, this is what I do.
Yep.
It's like, man, I've known you for 3 years and you're still playing the same venues to the
Yeah.
same people,
Yeah.
the same songs. And it's just like, that's great, but like, where's your upwards trajectory?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And it's like ambition's the other thing. We talk about it a lot. It's like it's when people's actions match their ambitions. Like a lot of people have or say their words will tell you that they've got big ambitions. I want to do this, and fuck, this is going to be good, and fuck, in 10 years it's going to be this. And then if you look at their actions and what they're actually fucking doing, a lot of the times they're in misalignment. And it's like
There's a lot of like knowing what your priorities are, but actually looking into it. Like you can have priorities in the back of your head. Like you can go, oh, I think what I need to do is is work full time so that I can earn heaps of money at a retail store, for example. And you can think that that's what you need to do at the time. It's like, but then that priority doesn't change because you're not actively thinking of what your real priorities are. So as soon as you actually visualize it and, you know, write it out on a bit of paper or whatever, talk to someone, really iron out, okay, what are my real priorities? Is it that I need money right now? Because if it is, then maybe working in retail is the right answer.
What is that reason that you want the money?
Yeah, exactly. There's no why behind that. It's just like, I need money.
Yeah, correct. Which is interesting because, like, a lot of the time people don't get to that realization of, or, you know, fuck, it turns out I didn't actually need this money that I was making myself unhappy for. Like, usually we don't get to that point unless there's massive trauma in our lives. Like, after the age of fucking 18 or something, or like 21, around that, when we were adults, we usually don't change our behaviors unless massive fucking trauma happens. It's kind of like someone has to fucking almost die around you or get very sick and you're like, fuck, I need to look after myself. Or someone has a fucking complete nervous breakdown and they're like, oh, fuck, am I really happy? Like, it takes these big things in our life to change us.
Totally.
But yeah, like, imagine if fucking at 24 people sat down like, okay, what am I making a priority in my life? And is it what I want for the next 15 years till I'm 40?
Yeah. I always think about, like, the possibilities of what humankind could be if I'm not, like, this sounds really high horsey. I keep, like, I keep hearing myself and going, I'm fucking doing what I want.
Where you're going with this.
But
get on.
The idea of imagine what humankind could do if everyone had the ambition and drive to follow their passions and like really wanted to work hard, because even in creative-based industries and passion-based industries, you still see a lot of people that just cruise and just like kind of coast and get by and just
human nature to get
do
comfortable.
enough. And I'm always like that. Like,
humans, it's against our fucking our very DNA to. We want to be we're creatures of comfort. Like, our brain puts in barriers for us to go, don't get out of your comfort zone because it's dangerous out there. Fight or flight. True, we don't know what's going to happen. Like, what's out there could harm you.
Yeah,
so
if you're sheltered, if you've got a place that you can stay and you're comfortable, that's all that you need.
Yep.
It's like some people don't.
And even on that, some people do get out of that comfort zone, and that's just for illegal activities. Like, there are some
mind went there.
Yeah. I was like, man, Pablo Escobar did some big shit, dude.
I want to know what his why was.
I think he just wanted to bring a lot of drugs into America. Wanted to make a lot of money.
Some people just want to watch the world burn.
Yeah. Like, should we allow them to do that to their maximum ambition?
True. Yep.
Good point though.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, nice.
I don't know.
So what was what have you been up to recently? Were you playing any fucking shows over summer? Did you do any festivals or anything?
I didn't actually do a whole lot over summer. It was the first time in many, many years that I had to myself, which was actually, I think it was well needed and well timed. So I just spent summer like playing a lot of video games and writing a lot of music.
Sick.
And it was the best. It was
Awesome.
very good.
Yeah.
Nice.
The music with the intent to release, or just for the fun of writing music?
It will end up being released inevitably. But my whole mindset for summer was just like, I'm just going to do stuff as it happens.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I spend, for me, doing a lot all the time means like I'm very stuck to the calendar and very stuck to time frames and deadlines, which is fine. And I need that.
It's crucial. Yeah.
Totally.
If you're going to be doing it full time,
yes,
you need a structure. Like
100%. And like, that's the thing that I tell everyone who's like, how do you do so many things? Is like, I just use my calendar like it's my Bible. I'm always on it. It's always, everything's timed out and planned out, and that can be detrimental because then it means I start planning my personal life like that. So that's why just over summer it was just like, I'm not going to make any plans. I had like 2.5 weeks where it's just like, I'll just wake up when I wake up. I'll eat when I feel like eating. Like, I'll play video games when I feel like playing video games. I'll make music when I feel like making music.
Super nice.
So that was like a nice reset.
Awesome. That's good. And fucking creatives need to do that. Like, sometimes a lot of the pressures we put in is just purely internal shit. And even on that, like, mental health in the industry is a fucking huge thing. But I do have a question. So how long were you on your own schedule for? Where you just go, cool, I'm just chilling it. I'm fucking doing shit what I want.
Over summer?
Yeah.
Like 2 weeks?
At the end of it, did you crave structure again?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
That's 100%.
See, because I get to that point as well. I'm like, fuck, it's good in theory, but I'm like, I can feel myself...
But the break is what's needed, though.
Yeah.
I think it's important to get that drive back.
Totally.
And a break is
Yeah,
what
yeah,
does
yeah.
that.
Yes.
Right? Like
Yep.
that's like the catalyst.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's important to do that because if all you're doing is working your ass off, you are bound to burn out.
Yeah.
Yep.
You are. It will happen
Yeah.
in one way or another. Whether it's like you strike out or you just snap and
Yeah.
have a go at someone that you
Yep.
shouldn't have,
Or it's
something.
quality over time, or
Yeah.
it's fucking
or
something.
you have a heart attack or something ridiculous like that. Like
Yep.
Well, I used to teach music like 6 days a week, and I had like 70 students that I would see, like individual
70?
lessons. 70 students every week, and every holidays, like every school holidays, because I only worked the school terms, I'd get sick like the first day off.
Really?
So and that was just like probably 2 years.
Yeah, yeah.
Every holidays that happened.
No shit.
And then I think the year before my last year of teaching, over the summer holidays, I was sick for like two weeks, bedridden.
That's so interesting.
cactus. That's
Yeah.
the worst.
Yeah, totally. And that for me was just like more of a sign than anything that it's like,
Oh,
all right,
hugely.
for one, I'm working too much.
Yep.
And two, I've sort of worked to the point where I don't actually enjoy what I'm doing and I'm just sort of stuck doing the motion of that work.
Correct.
What's also funny though, I take it there's some, like, you obviously have some sort of fucking like mental strength and dedication to be able to, you know, do what you do and get this far in an industry. But the fact that your mind will prolong that until you get a holiday and then the body shuts down.
Totally.
Because there's some people where it's like midterm, they're like, oh, I'm sick. And their body will give in then. Like the fact that you'll be good, keep going until when your brain perceives you to have a fucking break or your body's like, cool, now no one's relying on me.
Yep.
And then it collapses.
It's like not realizing that you need a rest
Yeah.
until
It's
something
like
happens.
that boiling frog syndrome. Like,
Yes.
it
Yep.
just builds and builds and builds and builds. Yeah, but that's super interesting. When you didn't think people were relying on you, your body would just go.
Went to
Crazy.
shit
Right.
every time.
There you go.
Every time. Yeah.
So like so you made that transition from being a music teacher. I'm guessing when I met you, when we worked together, it was when you're like, okay, I want to do music full time, but I have to support myself monetarily.
Yeah.
And was that the transition from music teacher into that?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. And what made you? Was it the sickness that made you go, okay, this is what I need to do right now?
I think, yes. Yeah, it was a convenient time for all of that to come to a close. Just in terms of like my living situation and my sort of life situation, all of that wrapped up really conveniently at the end of my time teaching. Like a relationship ended, literally everything.
Yeah, yeah.
You wouldn't believe
Yeah.
the amount of coincidence that
Yeah.
went into the end of that period.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was like, all right, I'm in a new house. I'm getting a new job. What's this next bit of time look like for me? What's this next chapter? And yeah, it was, all right, I'm going to work, get some money behind me and then see what happens with the music thing next. Because I knew I didn't want to teach again.
Yep.
Because I loved that at the time, but it was just, I did too much for too long.
Yeah.
And teaching kids is a drag.
How long did you teach
I'll
for?
say it. Like 5 years.
Okay.
5?
Yeah, it's a long time.
3 to
I
5-ish.
couldn't teach kids for 5 years, I don't think. I just shouldn't be around kids.
Yeah. It's good that you know. It's good to have the self-awareness.
I live in an 18+ world.
Did the music studio present itself to you, or did you guys look for it?
Bit of both. We worked out of my spare room for a year.
Yep.
And that was, it started off just us doing 1 or 2 days a week on Big Creature. And then it was like, I had a friend who wanted to sort of vamp up her solo career. And so she came and did some songs with us. Mm-hmm. And then because she did a few songs with us, word of mouth, like a couple of other people came through. And then we were like, all right, we could probably do this like a couple of days a week. Because we already were. And it was just in my spare room.
Yeah.
So we're like, all right, let's look for a place. And we're looking in Brunswick and we were looking like, Michael lives in Frankston, so we're looking down there, just a bit of everywhere. And then, the M Squared boys were like, we want to build like a little facility here. Mm-hmm. Would you guys be interested?
So where is it? Oakley.
Oakley, yeah.
Nice.
And we were like, yeah, and we sort of crunched the numbers and we were like, the risk versus the reward is like good enough that we'll do it. It's like there's a small risk, But initially we only had the room half the week, and another producer had it the other half.
Sweet.
So we're like, all right, so we don't have to go full into a 5-day-a-week lease or a 7-day-a-week lease. And yeah, the benefit was we don't have to be bringing artists to my house.
Yes.
So you can
And we have like a dedicated room, and we can set up all of our gear there, and we'll be in a building with other producers. So
100%.
Why this place exists.
All the fucking all the benefits that go along with it.
Totally. And yeah, we're just like, we'd be idiots to not do this. So.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's good. Like, humans are very adaptive creatures. It's like a lot of people are hesitant when they get to a decision like that. Like, fuck, I might be 50 or 70 bucks short in this, and this week doesn't and they don't do it. But it's like, bite off more than you can chew, a little bit more. Like, let's not do anything fucking stupid. But
don't make yourself homeless.
yeah, correct. But we are adaptive. We will get, if you need to do it, it's amazing what fucking people will do.
Totally.
So just if something's like, cool, I want to be a full-time musician, I want to be working in a fucking studio, this is what I want my life to look like. Here's an opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay, it feels like it might be a little bit out of what I deem to be my reach at the moment.
Yeah.
Just fucking go
Let's
for it.
see what happens.
Let
Yeah.
reality tell you it's
What's
out
the
of you.
worst thing that
Yes.
you can do is you can
back to the
fail
spare room.
and yeah,
And
exactly.
guess
Go
what?
back.
The world keeps on turning. And it's like, it's funny, when shit goes wrong in our lives, we have this funny thing where we think everyone's looking at us. We think everyone's going to see us at our most vulnerable. We think everyone's laughing at us. But in reality, everyone's got their own fucking lives. No one gives a shit.
Yeah.
We pick ourselves back up and we keep going.
Yeah. And I think if you get to the point of playing live for more than like a couple of years, you embody that like after not too long.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah.
Mistakes are going to happen most of the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the greater lessons you can learn, I think, as a musician.
100%.
You gotta
That's one
become
of
a-
the great things that playing live does teach you.
Yeah.
You know, just embrace that adversity.
Yeah.
Fuck. Because the people, and you can tell, the people who've done it a long time, who get good at it, like, fuck, man, there's almost nothing that could happen on stage that throws them. They're just in there and they're like, oh, cool, sweet, I've seen it all before.
Totally.
Done it
Yeah.
before.
And you're confident enough in your own ability and your own mind that it doesn't matter.
Yep.
I think the worst thing that you can do in those sorts of situations is try and let other people fix your problems for you. Because I've seen it on like at festivals and stuff where shit goes wrong and the guitar tech doesn't even really know what they're doing, and then the instrumentalist is like standing there like not knowing what's happening, and they just stand there for 10 minutes and not figure it out. That's half their set going. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? And that's because both of those people didn't really know how to fix the problems, which is interesting for a guitar tech. I was blown away. I was like, what the fuck is happening? But
Who was this? Name and shame.
it was Real Big Fish.
Oh, okay.
And it was, it was weird. And they've got an amazing live show,
Yeah.
right? Like, but the guitar tech, I don't know whether he was hired or what. He had no other fuck.
No shit.
But neither of them were able to fix the problem, and that was just because, I mean, who knows what the problem was. But
Yep.
if you were confident enough to try and fix something, you'd be running around trying to fix it. They were kind of scratching their heads.
Yeah,
like, it was
that's
weird.
the thing. Like not being fucking proactive about it because you think you're going to do more damage. Like, oh, I don't want to touch this. Like, fuck, get in there and find the problem.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's it. And
Yeah.
it's by going through but only by having solved problems in the past to go, cool, I know how to get to the bottom of this.
Totally.
And it's not by looking at it.
Yeah.
And that
totally.
and that relates to situations that aren't in a live gig environment. But
Oh, hugely.
if something happened to this studio, we'd be like, okay, how do we fucking fix this?
Yeah.
Like, if something happened, say if someone broke in or something, we had to fix the glass.
And
Like,
the
okay,
funniest-
let's
and you
fix
can-
the glass.
And you
Like,
see people, the funniest thing is, what not most, a lot of people will do is the first thing they do is just kind of look around. They're like, all right, I'm assessing. It's like, let's take action.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
shit, something's wrong. It's like, okay, let's
I think it's
look.
good to evaluate your options.
Definitely.
I think you need to evaluate your options, but then make a decision.
Take action. Yep.
Yeah, indecision is the worst thing.
Yep.
We're kind of talking very theoretical.
It's good. It's good. I'm down with it.
It's very practical, psychological, analysis. It's fun. It's
Well, we
great.
can get back
Yeah.
on the music then, Stu. So what have you got? What have you got coming up? Any fucking projects that you can that you can talk about, or
Yeah.
What are you working on at the moment?
Well, I'll spruik my stuff first because
Fucking right. Where can everyone find you on socials?
so my band Big Creature is at Big Creature on all the main social
stuff.
All the big stuff on the interwebs.
My project is _Grand Union, and I'm thinking I'll let this out now. I think I'm just going to merge my two projects. I think that's the vibe. I just don't want to have
Nice.
to
You
deal with
heard
an
it
extra
here first.
account.
Yep.
And I think it's going to fit. So that's just, all my stuff's just going to be coming out under Grand Union. We are both projects going to be releasing soon. Big Creature's got a new single coming out next Thursday.
Nice.
Doing the Thursday
Sick.
release, surprising him.
Ooh.
And what else are we working on?
And what's the studio name again?
Entente. Entente is the name of our
do you spell
production
it?
company. Entente.
Entente.
It's a French word.
Yep.
It's historical.
Very easy to search.
Yeah, it's very easy to search, very easy to pronounce.
Yep.
So,
Sweet. And that's in Oakley.
yes, yeah,
Cool.
that's in Oakley. We're on the socials as well, and yeah, we're sort of waiting for like the last lot of our projects from last year to be released.
Yep.
There's some stuff that we've worked on that, like some of my favorite stuff we've worked on is coming out in the next few months.
And
which
who's
will
that
be
with?
Very excellent. Artist called Nana Muse.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah,
We've
sweet.
heard Nana Muse.
Yeah,
We know her.
super great. We just did her most recent single that came out. We did, and she's coming in the studio with us next week, and we're going to
Sweet.
work on another one. And that's
Awesome.
Again, like super cool
I
stuff.
think I'm catching her in a couple of weeks, Feb 20th, with Alex Carpy.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah, I might have to go to that.
Yeah, sweet.
be good to
I'll be
see.
there. And Remedy, another female MC.
Cool.
Yeah,
Super cool. All right.
done. I'll see
Where
you
is
there.
that?
Feb 20. It's at Workers Club. No, I made that up.
It's somewhere.
It's somewhere on Feb 20th.
We'll drop a link in the description.
Sure. Yeah, no, we will. I'm going to say Workers. No.
Even
No,
if it's
I'm
not.
not.
Don't worry.
I'm not.
It's probably
Find it
Yeah.
and we'll talk about
it'll
it.
be on the internet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, but done. Yeah, get down to that. I'll see you there.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah, her stuff's fucking super clean. How long you been working with her?
We started just doing some writing sessions like last March, like really early when we started off.
Yep.
And that was Rob Amoruso, who's another producer that works in our building, has heaps of cool artists come through, and he'll just like we all introduce our artists to each other,
Cool.
Sweet.
and then it's always just like at the artist you should go and work with these
Yes.
guys.
Yeah.
And it's
Yep.
just you just come and do a songwrite in a day and
Love it.
see if you vibe it. And that's the song that we wrote with Nana Muse was that. Wrote it in a day. She was like, this is great. And then we sort of like came back a few months later and put the work into it. So
Awesome.
Perfect.
yeah, so just looking forward to stuff coming out.
Yeah, sick.
Nice.
Yeah, it's good.
It's always good when shit that's been working on not lingering, but just sits and has to go through the process of the fucking back
Yeah.
end.
Yeah.
When it finally sees the light of
Yeah.
day, you're like, fuck, thank
That's
God
great
it's out.
relief.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
It's like one that we can plug today. Ben Witkowski.
Oh,
Roman,
yeah.
That was mixed here.
That's out, yep.
It's out today. It won't be out. It'll
It was
be like
recorded
last
here?
week once we release
Recorded
this
and mixed here?
podcast. Recorded and mixed here.
Yeah.
By yours truly.
By me?
No, by me.
Oh, you did that one. Fair.
Yep. Yeah, nice. Sick, man.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Sick. Anything else? What's coming up? Any shows that you're playing out you want to fucking plug?
Plugging one of my good friends and artist, Becto. She's we're doing a single launch for her in April. Another one that we've recorded with her as well, and I'm starting on the live show now, just totally sort of redesigning it and going to do visuals and the whole shebang. That show's going to be at Catfish. It will be great. It's nice.
Sick.
It's just a great little venue.
Yeah. Catfish is dope.
And
We got some killer food there as well, if anyone was wondering.
yeah, dude, like what are they? The Philadelphia
cheesesteak.
cheesesteak.
Yeah.
Cheesesteak. Yeah, that shit's great. Yeah, I love that venue.
Yep.
It's very nice.
And
So
they've got one of those Mexican walking fish in the front bar.
axolotls.
Yes,
Got a
that is
couple of
the
those little
actual
dudes in
name
there.
for them.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, that's pretty much it for me, man. Just like
Sick.
working on my own stuff, and again, like I'll be releasing something from that in the next couple of months.
Wicked.
Cool.
You heard it here
We will
first.
keep our ears
I
peeled.
just decided now.
Nice.
I'll do it in the next couple of months.
In the next
All right.
couple of months. In the next couple of months, we will release that clip and let everyone know.
Nice, man.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Man.
Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And
It's been
thanks
nice.
to you guys for joining us.
Yes.
And listening. Awesome. Zeke Thomas, legend. Thanks for coming
What's up?
through. And we'll see you guys next time.
Done.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.